Hey everybody, Ivan here. Today is everybody's favorite day. It's lawnmower tune-up day. We got your basic Briggs and Stratton motor, self-propelled, 21-inch blade, $20 in parts from Lowe's, 5 easy steps, pay attention, and I got you. Ready? Alright. So the first thing you gotta do is go to Lowe's or Home Depot. I got premium 4-cycle small engine oil from Briggs and Stratton, a genuine air filter, Briggs and Stratton, and an overhead valve spark plug from Briggs and Stratton. Those are all the parts we're going to need, and that cost me $20 in and out. So the first step, take the spark plug out. It's right in the front of the lawnmower. There's a little wire with an arm attached to the spark plug. Give it a little lefty-loosey, wiggle it, and it's off. Alright, spark plug wire's off. Now I've got your basic spark plug socket on an extended wrench. Slide that in there. Loosen it up. And she's out. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty blacked out. So the replacement one is the exact same. Now while I'm taking this out, most manufacturers recommend to do a tune-up for every 50 hours of use, right? So in New England, half the year we cut the grass, so it's about 20 to 25 weeks. For my particular lawn, it takes 1 hour to do it. So 25 hours every year, 2 years, 50 hours. So I basically do my tune-up every 2 years, depending on how the seasons go. So this is my new spark plug. It comes gap from the factory. This was the old one. It's a little burnt out. Same exact plug. So I always kind of hand tighten it first, and then I'll tighten it with my socket after. Alright, it's in there. Free this up. Line it up. Okay. Righty tighty. You don't want to go too tight with this either, alright? Just kind of firm. Once it kind of gets tight on you, that's all you want. First step completed. New spark plug. Step 2, air filter replacement. This is the easiest one. The air filter on this particular motor is right here. There's a little clip on top. Undo that. Drop it on the floor. And here's the old air filter. As you can see, it's got all kinds of leaves and grass and dirt and whatnot. It's dirty. No bueno. Old one, new one. So, this is the filter. This is where the air gets into the engine for combustion, right? You want to make sure this is very clean before you put the new filter in. So, get a shop rag of some sort, clean it out, all the debris. So it's nice and clean. Here's a new one. Now watch this. 2 holes. Done, baby. Oh, the cap's down there. While it's off, give it a quick clean up. Two tabs on the bottom, 2 tabs down there. Click them in there. Rise it up. 2 steps done. Third step, the blade. You can either sharpen it, or if it's really beat up, replace it. Most blades are between $20 and $40. I didn't buy a new blade because this mower is only 2 years old. Now, if you want to extend the life of your blade, before you cut the grass, pick up all the sticks and the rocks. Don't be running that crap over. Blades are expensive. You don't want to be buying new blades. Not only if your blade is all bent, chipped, it's going to cut the grass all jagged. Grass can get sick, diseased, mold, then your lawn gets all messed up. So before you cut the grass, take a quick walk around, pick up any sticks, twigs, rocks, or kids' toys, your dog, get them off the grass, and cut it. Alright? So, I got my firefighter gloves on because I can't find my workshop gloves. And we're going to take off this blade, and I'm going to sharpen it. Alright, so the same thing, lefty-loosey. I'm going to hold the blade with my gloved hand. Safety first, people. I should probably wearing goggles, but... and pull it towards you. See? How long is this bolt? Alright, so remember how your blade comes off. This particular one, bolt, some kind of holder, and the blade itself. Alright? Now, you see how it's arched? That faced down towards the grass, okay? So that's how the blade looks when you put it back on. Don't put it on backwards. You ain't gonna cut your grass. So as you can see, this blade, honestly, is pretty good. If you look at those lines, I have a little chip right there. So this blade is actually pretty good. Like I said, I've only had it for 2 years. So you have two options. You can use a hand file and just file along that, or you can use a grinder and just do a quick zzz, zzz. I like power tools. I'm using the grinder. Alright, so the lawnmower blade is clamped to the table. Nothing fancy. This is the part that I have to work. Goggles are important. Firefighter gloves are more important. And I just have a basic grinder with a metal blade on it. So all I'm going to do is just work that very lightly and very quickly. And that's it. Then I'll flip the blade around and do the same on the other side. Alright, so that side sharpened up. Loosen the clamps. And we do the other side. So there you go. The blade's sharp enough for another season. Again, you're not going to be able to do this every single year. Eventually you're going to have to get a new blade. So at least this will be good for another year or two. Alright, so the blade sharpened up. Obviously I'm not going to put a freshly sharpened blade on this dirty deck. So, step 4, I'm bringing this mower out to the driveway. I'll change the oil, clean everything down, then I'll put the blade back on. Alright, so let's get this off and get the oil changed. Alright, so far, step 1 was a spark plug. We replaced that. I haven't hooked the wire back up because I was dealing with the blade and I didn't want it somehow to trip. It's just a safety thing. Keep this unhooked when you're working with the blade. Step 2 was the air filter. Straightforward. Step 3 was the blade. We took that off and sharpened it. Now step 4 is to drain the oil. Now this particular machine, it says you never have to change the oil. Just keep adding it. Would you ever do that with your car? Me neither. So I'm going to try to change this oil. There's no drain plug on this particular motor because it's a never change oil mower, which to me is BS. So I'm going to try to tilt this as much as I can. This is the oil fill, and hopefully I can get as much oil out as possible, and then I can add fresh oil. So that's the plan. Let's see how it goes. So most lawnmowers have some kind of drain plug. It's like a little silver plug on the bottom of the motor. You can unscrew that get either a cup or a catch device, tilt the mower, and drain the oil. Again, this motor is a never change, just keep filling. I don't like that. So, the cap's off. If you look at it, the oil's pretty dark, honestly. Clean this off and put this to the side. All right, I'm gonna attempt to tilt the mower and drain out as much oil as I can. And it's pouring out. As you can see, it's still pouring out. And it's not gold like brand new oil, so it's a good thing that I did drain it. All right, so that's pretty good. Let's get this motor back on its wheels. Okay. Clean off the slip. And now we can add oil to it. All right, so step 4 is fill the oil now. Premium 4-cycle small engine oil from Briggs and Stratton. It's SAE 30 weight. Now, I don't know how much oil is going to actually go in here because I don't have the instruction manual and I don't know exactly how large this engine is. So what I'm going to do is just keep filling it, and ever so often I'm going to check with this gauge. Now, if you can see the gauge, there's 2 holes. If it's lower than that hole, it's too low. If it's higher than that hole, it's too high. So you want to keep it right in between those 2 holes. Now it's very important when you want to check it that you make sure that you actually screw it down so the dipstick reaches the bottom of the engine and you get an actual fill. At the bottom of the first hole, so I know I need a little bit more to get it right in the halfway point. So again, put the dipstick in there, tighten it, pull it out. All right, and now it's exactly at the top hole, so we're perfect, all right? Give this a quick wipe down, put it back in, and we're good to go. Make sure you tighten that bad boy up. All right, so that's the 4th step, the oil's changed. The last step is we're gonna clean the deck and put the blade back on. It's very important after every time you cut your grass to try to clean this deck off. Mold, fungi, seeds from weeds, all that stuff can spread every time you cut your grass and spread all kinds of disease, weeds, and other stuff you don't want. So it's very important to get this deck cleaned up after every cut. So I'm just gonna take my scraper and just kind of get in here, okay? Take out the heavy stuff off. Now you don't need to watch me for 10 minutes like do this, but I got a wire brush as well. You just kind of rub it down, scrape it, get all that gunk out. All right, so you can get crazy with this. Just for the purpose of time, you get the idea. After I did this, I'll also get my garden hose and spray that, scrape it again and get it super cleaned up, all right? So at this point, the deck is cleaned, quote unquote. I know it looks like crap, but we're gonna get the blade put back on. So again, this was our blade, all right? That's how it's going back on the mechanism, just like that, all right? Again, the ends are sharpened. They're very sharp now, so be careful. Make sure you wear your gloves when you do this. Get my socket set to tighten. Put this bad boy back on. And again, the spark plug wire is disconnected from the spark plug right now. Alright, hand tighten that. Alright, once it's hand tight as far as it's gonna go, take your socket, hold the blade with your glove, and tighten it up. That blade's on there tight, all right? Get this thing tilted back over. Alright, so it's cleaned up, the blade's put back on. The last thing I'm going to do is put the spark plug wire back on the spark plug. Alright, so after the spark plug's on, you're good to go. So the first step we did was replace the spark plug. Second was the air filter. Third, we took the blade off and sharpened it. Fourth, we changed the oil. And fifth is to basically just go through your machine, check the tires, make sure they're not worn down, they're not loose, check your cables, give it an overall really good cleaning, and then put the blade back on. And then you're good to go. Alright, so there you have it. For $20, 5 easy steps, you got your lawnmower tuned up. Just remember, about every 50 hours of use, you want to get it tuned up. These motors have been built for a long time. As long as you got fresh oil, fresh air, and a good spark plug, they'll run forever. So for construction projects, DIY, home repairs, gardening, tool reviews, and tool maintenance, give me a subscribe. I appreciate it. Thanks for the watch.